What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. Right, so the new first sight AR, let's get into it. Let's see, is it actually top tier? Is it trash? Should we be using it? Should we not? Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and let's get going. Right, okay, so off eyesight, first of all, if you can get over how badly, you know, the AK shoots, it's not the most stable. It's a much slower shooting AR than what we've been used to. However, when you eyeball this thing, if you get your me backpack talent going, we're running killer as well on it. And then when you get them strikers stacked up as well, all of a sudden you start thinking, wowzers, I am seeing some really big numbers here. I'm only halfway through the striker stacks, and I'm already seeing 1.5 mil headshots. Let's keep that going. And we'll just kind of get to the top end. We'll make it a bit easier. Let's go invulnerable. So yeah, body shots here like a mil then. And obviously we're not proccing killer anymore now. Strikers is at the top. Let's shoot some of these. Can we get that there? Make sure unstoppable force. I should have been better putting vigilance on really, shouldn't I? But and we've got killer on now. We're at the top. Like, look at this here. 1.8 million. Holy, and I'm sure I brought 1.9 just then as well. But, you know, some crazy numbers, right? So it looks good. It looks good, right? An assault rifle firing for that kind of damage. You know, we've got killer on here. You could use strained on this. You can't use the link laser pointer, so flatline's not really a thing. But you put killer on it, you could put strained on it. Farm yourself one with damage target out of cover. You can farm it in multiple ways. You can use multiple characters to complete the project and get multiple drops that way. It does drop from the loot goblin. I had some bad luck with it. I didn't get it to drop, but it does drop. I've seen screenshots now. It definitely drops. Somebody else on my YouTube said that they got it from Countdown, from assault rifle targeted loot. I've not seen any proof of that, so take that with a pinch of salt. But let me know in the comments down below if that's been happening to you. I find it unlikely that it's in the general loot pool, but it's definitely with the loot goblin. You can farm it on multiple characters, and if you've got a friend that got damage target out to cover straight away and they've got other characters, if you're in the party when they get it from the project, they're able to share it. So there's a whole bunch of ways of getting it. And what's actually special about it is that it has 105% headshot damage on. ARs usually only have 75%, regardless of if it is an exotic or not. It's always 75%. This one has what they call a perfect stat. We've had it with the Lexington. We had the damage upgraded with the Lexington. And with this one, we've had the headshot upgraded. And it seems like it's a lot, right? You know, so from 75 to 105, 30% extra headshot damage. You know, that feels like a really big number. And, you know, it is a really big number. But we have another gun in the game as well that gives us a lot of damage when it comes to headshot, that we're able to also put damage to target out of cover on, and we have the big game hunter talent, the bighorn, obviously. So what is best? Is the Lexington still king ding-a-ling? Is the first sight now, you know, with its huge damage numbers, the new Don? Or are we just, you know, dreaming that they would add another best in slot assault rifle for really doing not a lot? So I can show you the actual stats of this. Big shout out to Dodd for loaning me his spreadsheet. And if you're on mobile, you might struggle to see these damage numbers. But what I will do, however, is I will just read them out and go through them, so you're getting the right idea as we talk about it. So a couple of things to start off with here before we talk about it. One, this is incorporating that I've got obliterate maxed out. It's also incorporating that you have vigilance or unstoppable force maxed out. It's also incorporating that you've got strikers on maxed out. So we're at very top end here. And we kind of have to do that to make it fair, right? We could make the damage numbers look a lot lower. We could say you've got no stacks of strikers, you've got no stacks of obliterate, but where's the fun in that, right? We've compared to an even playing field because we've gone maxed out with absolutely everything. All we've done is switch the gun and switch the required mods to make sure we're as close as we possibly can to 60% crit chance, and then everything else is critical hit damage. The only difference being here, obviously, with the Bighorn that doesn't have the killer talent, but the Lexington and First Sight are incorporating that we have got killer active also for that extra critical hit damage. And with all that said, you've probably already eyeballed what is exactly going on here. But you can see here at the top, the Lexington, it's 100% because everything's being compared to this. But when we drop down to the First Sight, you can see actually you'll do around 4% extra damage with the First Sight if you're hitting headshots. But if you're not hitting headshots, you'll do pretty much 7% less damage. So how good is your headshots? And considering that it's also the AK as well, are you willing to give up potential 7% damage for hitting anywhere else but the head to gain 4% extra headshot damage? Now, let's think about that for a moment. Now, perhaps if you're in the incursion and you're doing the lovebirds and you can literally get 99% headshot damage, it might actually be worth. You're actually probably going to do more damage. But generally, on day-to-day gameplay, are you going to do more damage with this gun? No, I really don't think you are. And unless for some reason you're some kind of AK enthusiast, you're probably better just sticking with the Lexington. It has a higher rate of fire, which generally, you know, for, I'll say players like myself, is a lot more forgiving because it's got a high rate of fire. If you miss shots, if you miss headshots, the speed can help us out in that circumstance, where with a slower rate of fire, this being 690, don't forget I am getting a rate of fire increase for having strikers on here as well. It's just less forgiving, right? If you miss shots, you miss them and then it's slower to fire the next shot. It's just not as forgiving to be in that situation. Is it a terrible gun? No. Is it anywhere near as good as a majority of things that we've got? No. And there's no real reason to use this. And then, for instance, we can talk about the Bighorn. You know, if you went all headshot with the headshot talent on the Bighorn maxed out, which is not a hard thing to do. If you can hit headshots again with the same strikers build that we've got on, you can see that does 57.7 or 57.8 pretty much percent extra headshot damage. Now, yes, you drop nearly 20% for body shot damage when you use the Bighorn, but that's why it's so popular in PvP. If you can hit them headshots, yeah, you know, that's definitely a great gun to use. But the Lexington comes in again, you know, although RPM is the same, it's just much more versatile. For it's kind of evened better, if that makes sense. The Bighorn is tilted in the headshot direction massively. The First Sight is tilted just ever so little, whereas the Lexington is much more of an even seesaw. That's how you would imagine it. And therefore then it's just more forgiving, and you'll just feel like you will kill quicker, because you will kill quicker. You're much more room for error in there because of that as well. And yeah, all things good. Big shout out to Dodd again for lending me his spreadsheet. I'm going to do a lot more of this because his spreadsheet is way easier than my convoluted thing. So you'll see a lot more of this here going forward, thanks to him. But yeah, that is going to be it. Just to give you a little bit more information, the Lexington had 58% critical hit chance with 210% critical hit damage. We obviously with killer on there as well. If we were looking at the First Sight, we had 58% crit chance with that as well, with 200% critical hit damage. Remember, we lose a little bit of critical hit damage there because the First Sight has one less mod slot on there as well. And with the Bighorn, we actually had a full capped out 60% critical hit chance, which was, yeah, really nice. But obviously that only had 106% critical hit damage, but obviously had a huge 265% headshot damage when it was clocked in top of the end of the talent there. So yeah, so you can see the damage numbers there. You'll see the kind of numbers that you will hit with here as well. There's no point me going over them. But just because something looks bigger, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is better, girls. Just remember that. And this is absolutely the case for this first sight gun. Is it terrible? No. If you want to use it and you're good at hitting headshots, you will do very well. But the Lexington all round is just much more forgiving, and you'll probably end up killing quicker. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And yeah, don't fall for them bigger numbers when you're getting your information with the division. Thanks for watching, agents. Goodbye.